you keep hearing medical words like inflammation. Sugar increases inflammation in the body. But then you're like, what does increasing inflammation even mean? You didn't go to medical school or have to utilize that word in essays, and then you go to your doctor's office and they're saying,
oh, don't eat sugar, it's going to increase inflammation.
And so you think to yourself, what does increasing inflammation look like? Does it cause the body to be in flames? Does the inside of your body start to look like a flamingo? According to AI from Google, it is a defense mechanism that occurs when
living tissue is damaged. It's a response to injury or infection that involves changes in blood flow, increased permeability of blood vessels, the migration of white blood cells, and proteins to the site of damage.
So you're probably still turning your head and you're thinking,
what the heck does that mean?
So today, let me try to break it down for you in very simple terms. Just so that you can understand the severity of why eating sugar is bad for you and why having too much of it is terrible for you in your body. So not so much of the natural sugars that you would find in, like, say, fruits, but the added sugars that you would find in sodas, juices, any boxed foods that's labeled in the back and it says added sugars, or in candies and pastries and breads and pastas and rice. Alright, so stick around because this is going to make much more sense to you. So when you eat sugar, your pancreas is your best friend. Now, where is your pancreas? Your pancreas is on your stomach. It's on the left side of your stomach, located at the top left region of your stomach. It is about the size of your hand. So this organ, the pancreas, is so important because it helps you digest food as well as use sugar in your body for energy. The pancreas makes what they would call enzymes. These enzymes gobble up the food that you eat inside of your small intestine to make sure that the food turns into vital nutrients, vital vitamins, vital minerals. That way it can be distributed all throughout your body. And again, the small intestine is where your food will travel to right after it ends up inside of your stomach. And I said earlier, the pancreas uses sugar in your body to utilize it as energy. And how does the pancreas do this? Well, it makes a specific molecule in our body called insulin. You may have heard it before. And just like us humans, we have a limited capacity. We can only do so much in a day. And just like your pancreas, it can only do so much in a day. Now, in the worst case scenario, where you would begin to eat way too much sugar, overwhelming the body with too much sugar, the pancreas can't make enough insulin to gobble up the sugar, which ends up causing extra sugar in your body just to roam around and circulate all through your body with nowhere to go. So you may be wondering, how much is too much sugar? According to the American Heart Association, the organization in charge of making sure America's heart is at its best state of health, which we haven't been at the best state of health because America is actually known to have the highest rates of heart disease. But I'll tell you the recommendation anyways. So they recommended that men eat less than 36 grams of sugar per day, while women eat less than 25 grams per day, and children also less than 25 grams per day. And if you ask me, what do I normally eat? I do not allow myself to eat more than 20 grams of sugar per day. Some days I'll eat even less than that. And some days I'll just completely try to cut off my sugar intake. Because essentially any added sugar is empty calories and our body doesn't need it. We can get enough nutrients from the protein we eat. We can get enough nutrients from the vegetables we eat. And if we do need a little bit of sugar, we can just eat some fruits. There was a study back in 2019 They said that the average person in the United States ate 17 teaspoons of sugar per day, which is about 71 grams of sugar per day, which makes it 3 times the recommended amount. So if that was the average of most Americans, I mean, that means that a lot of people were eating more than 71 grams per day, while half the Americans were eating less. Now, if you think about it, if the recommended amount for men and women are between 20 to 30 grams per day, I would believe that at least 3/4 of Americans were eating more than a recommended amount. So let's just say you are one of these people eating more than the recommended amount. So what happens in the body? The body is overloaded with sugar. It's flooded with sugar. That extra sugar that is just floating and floating around in your body, eventually it needs to go somewhere. So where does it go? It ends up attaching to proteins and fats inside of your body. Now, where can you find proteins and fats? They can be found inside of our bloodstream, inside of our blood vessels. The proteins and fats line inside of our blood vessels, all throughout the body, anywhere. Your hands, your feet, your internal organs, your brain, your mouth, every organ, your eyes, your feet, your kidneys, your liver, every organ. So this marriage of sugar, protein, and fat is incredibly dangerous. It is not a successful marriage. It's probably one of the marriages in America, since our divorce rate is incredibly terrible. I mean, our divorce rate is terrible, our health is terrible, and we're creating marriages in our body that are unsuccessful. It's causing us problems. So scientists have determined that the marriage of sugar, protein, and fats go through a process called advanced glycation end products. Yeah, complicated word. I probably will not remember it in the next month, but let's call it what the scientists would call it. In abbreviation, they would call it AGES, AGES, AGES. Oh, so that's a little bit easier to remember, wouldn't you say? And if you want to think about it, this word, AGES, it's like a synonym for what it would actually do to your body. It portrays a mechanism in your body that ages you faster than you would like to. So this formation or marriage between sugar, fats, and protein, this formation of AGES tells the body that there is a foreign invader and that something must be done. So when lots of AGES are made inside of your body, the body responds by producing a protein in your body called cytokines. So you can think of cytokines like a messenger in your body that gets produced when there's a foreign invader. And it tells the body that it needs to begin to attack, that there is a foreign invader in a specific area in your body and it needs to begin to attack. But you need to think about it. If sugar is circulating all throughout your body and there's protein all throughout your body as well as fat all throughout your body, where does the cytokine think it needs to attack? It has no specific location. So where does this messenger go to recruit a soldier of armies? The soldier of armies needs to go to the areas where this AGES formation is, I guess you would say, gathering, and it's gathering in all parts of your body. So your body needs to send these soldiers to attack the groups of AGES. It needs to fight the invaders. It needs to fight the threats, and it needs to start repairing the body. So who are these soldiers? We can think of these soldiers as immune cells. So the most common immune cell that you probably know of is your white blood cell. Whenever you get an infection and you go to the doctor and they check your blood levels, your white blood cells may be up. It may be elevated because the body has produced enough cytokines to alert the white blood cells to come and protect the body from the viral invasion. So can you imagine if you are every day eating loads and loads of sugar? The body continuously produces loads and loads of messengers, aka cytokines, and those loads and loads of cytokines are continuously recruiting soldiers, which are our immune cells, and over time, it's just a continuation of attack and war inside of our body, everywhere in the body, not a specific location. It is everywhere. So similar to that of the Ukraine war that started back in February 20th of 2014 by Russia. What happened during the Ukraine war? The Russians attacked Ukraine and they threw airstrikes onto the land of Ukraine. Now, the airstrikes caused environmental damages, air and water pollution from all of the explosions, chemical contamination due to the byproduct of these explosions, and destruction of the landscape due to the act of war. Therefore, as your body continues every day to develop ages, the marriage of excess sugar that has nowhere to go in your body, plus protein, plus fats, your body will continuously go through war. It develops so much pollution in the body. There's contamination and destruction of your internal organs, your internal blood vessels, the blood vessels that are in every part of your body, which in the end result will cause you to develop diseases. Now, you can think of inflammation as war, the remnants of having war. So what does the body go through when it's experiencing the leftover causes of war? You can start to develop diseases. You can start to develop diabetes. Now, why does diabetes develop? Because you have blood vessels inside of your pancreas. You have cells inside of your pancreas trying to make insulin to support the body's overwhelming amount of sugar. And then over time, the production, your pancreas cannot make any more insulin. Those little tiny vessels inside of your pancreas, it becomes overwhelmed by the massive production of ages. And then when the body goes to war against ages, it again makes contamination and it affects the cells. Then the cells do not work like they once did. It cannot support the body. It cannot support the blood sugar levels. And then you'll end up getting diabetes. And then you've also heard that the body will develop heart disease when you have diabetes, when you have too much blood sugar over a long period of time, because the blood vessels have been damaged all throughout your body because it's gone to war. The blood vessels are not working like they once did. You can think of it, if a damaged pipe was supposed to deliver water to a home, and that pipe is no longer working because of erosion, because of the chemical combustion that's happening at a certain area in the pipe that is causing it to break down and not allow water to flow freely, there's going to be a backup in the main system. And the main system is the heart. The heart will start to get overwhelmed because it's being overworked and trying to pump blood throughout your body. The vessels are slowly breaking down, or the pipes are slowly breaking down, and eventually it can cause one of the pipes to bust or to blow up. And in medical terminology, this is what you call an aneurysm. When the pipe gets weaker and weaker, it expands, and then eventually one day it's going to burst. And this is what you call an aneurysm in the medical community. High blood sugar over time can develop into kidney disease. We all have blood vessels inside of our kidneys. What happens? When the body is inflamed, we're always going to war. The areas in the kidneys, the cells don't work, the blood vessels don't work. And what does our kidneys do for our body? It helps to remove toxins. It helps to make red blood cells. So in the event that someone has kidney disease, they no longer make the necessary amount of red blood cells for the body, which causes you to get anemia, low blood levels in the body. And then you develop kidney disease. Your body does not remove toxins from the body like it should, because then again, the kidney is responsible for filtering the blood. And then people who have too much blood sugar, who have developed diabetes, they are at high risk for getting brain diseases like Alzheimer's disease. Now let's cycle back. What does the brain have? The brain has tons of blood vessels. Tons of blood vessels that if are damaged, you will start to get short circuiting in the brain. The blood flow will not flow like it once did. Nutrients cannot reach areas of the brain that requires nutrients. So you get blockages along the way. And not only that, the aneurysm, the pipe, remember that I was talking about, that begins to get weak, that begins to expand because the pressure from the water that's trying to exit the pipe is expanding and expanding. You can get the same aneurysm inside of your brain. The weakened pipes can be inside of the brain. The cells in the brain can be damaged due to the aftermath of war, due to the aftermath of inflammation. And lastly, you can develop cancer. And why does cancer develop? Because the remnants of war, the contamination, the destruction of our ecosystem in our body, if it's not in the right environment, the perfect environment, and it's continuously spewing out toxic waste, toxic environment, the cells in our body is not going to grow correctly. So to end this video, now that you know that the remnants of war, the remnants of inflammation inside of our body is not healthy, my advice to you would be to keep track of how much sugar you intake daily. Read all of your labels, check the added sugar label, as well as total sugars. But more importantly, you want to make sure that the added sugars in the total amount that you consume in one given day is less than 20. So just try to keep your added sugar levels incredibly low. Understand that eating out, there can be hidden sugars that these restaurants add to your foods. If it tastes sweet, if it tastes delicious, you may need to reconsider how often you eat out. And don't forget, added sugars does not come in just tablespoon sugar or teaspoon sugar. It also comes in breads, pastas, rice, because when these types of ingredients enter our body changes it into sugar. So it's hard to regulate these items. I would say reduce the amount of breads, pastas, and rice that you eat. And more importantly, count your added sugars. Eat foods with low glycemic index. There's tons of charts online. Go ahead and check out those charts and try to aim for the ones that have low glycemic index, because that means that your body is absorbing the food very gradually and it allows the body to work at the food that you're eating. That way you don't have sugar spikes, because the sugar spikes is the dangerous part. It's flooding the body with way too much sugar and allowing the sugar to get married to proteins and fats. It's going to cause a war inside of your body. And lastly, stay away from processed foods. They always or tend to always add added sugars. And stay away from foods that are overcooked, that are fried, that are baked on high heat, because excessive heat applied to food has been also known to produce ages. So your best option is to eat foods that are fresh, that are cooked on low heat, that are simmered, and again, that are natural in production. No processed foods. Alright, so if you liked my content today, make sure you like the video and subscribe so that this video can get into the algorithm and for other people to benefit from and learn. Stay healthy, YouTube family. Bye!